The Spanish Civil War came to quick conclusion at the beginning of 1939 with a total victory of nationalist forces led by Franco. He immediately established a dictatorship. While Hitler had promised that he had no interest in ruling a single Czech, only ethnic Germans, on March 15th, Hitler entered Prague, itself now part of the Greater Reich. To all who believed that Hitler could be trusted to keep his word, this was the final blow. Hitler next turned his attention to Poland, demanding the return of the Danzig corridor. The British signed a defensive pact with Poland, pledging to come to its aid in case of an attack. In August, to the surprise of the world, the Non-Aggression Pact was signed between the Soviet Union and Germany. The pact, otherwise known as the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, included a secret protocol that divided Poland between the two countries. War was now certain. Despite last-minute attempts to come to an agreement short of war, Hitler was committed to war. On September 1st, Hitler's army struck. 2 days later, France and Great Britain declared war on Germany. The Polish army and air force with their cavalry and biplanes were no match for the German army with its modern planes and tanks. In what became known as Blitzkrieg, the Germans quickly routed the Poles. By the end of September, after being bombarded for days, Warsaw surrendered. As the Germans advanced, special units of the SS advanced with the army and began terrorizing and killing the Jews of Poland. The Soviet Union immediately invaded and occupied their part of Poland. In November, the Soviet Union invaded Finland, which had once been part of Russia. While Poland was being dismembered, the only war taking place in the West was in the air and at sea. A sea blockade was established on Germany. The Germans quickly sank the luxury liner Athenia, with the loss of many American lives. While the British battleship Royal Ark was sunk by a German torpedo as well. In December, the German pocket battleship Graf Spree was cornered off Montevideo and was forced to scuttle. Before the war had broken out, millions of Americans had flocked to the New York World's Fair. Among the visitors were the King and Queen of England, who had a very successful visit to the United States. Once the war broke out, Roosevelt stated that while the U.S. was neutral, in fact it wasn't in thought. The Neutrality Act of 1939 was passed that allowed the Allies to buy arms on the basis of cash and carry. While the world began to burn, two of the most successful movies of all time were released in the U.S., Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz.